Good morning, everyone, and welcome to The Water's Edge, a place where everyone is welcome. If you're live with us today, we're so excited to have you here. And if you're online this morning, be sure to check us out on Facebook or YouTube, and feel free to like, share, and comment. And if you know anyone that needs our help to get closer to Jesus, invite them to church or share our online content with them. Because we exist to tear down the walls between God and people who feel far away from God. So if you want to help us out on our mission, or God just put it on your heart to volunteer, email us at watersedgevolunteer@gmail.com or text your contact info to 337-352-2443 and we'll get you plugged in. We have a full experience for you guys, so get ready to worship with the Water's Edge Band and a message from Pastor Tony.
This is the day that you have made. Whatever comes, I won't complain. For all my hope is in your name, and now your joy awaits my praise. I give thanks for all you have done, and I will sing of your mercy and your love. Your love is unfailing. Lord, I am grateful. When I was down, you brought me out and set my feet on higher ground. So here I stand, you are my God, your faithfulness, my solid rock. I give thanks for all you have done, and I will sing of your mercy and your love. Your love is unfailing. Lord, I am grateful. And give thanks for all you have done. I won't forget all the battles you have won. Your love is unfailing. Lord, I am grateful. And as we lift our hands, the heavens open, heavens open. So let our lives declare the love our God has spoken over us. And as we lift our hands, the heavens open, heavens open. So let our lives declare the love our God has spoken over us. I give thanks for all you have done, and I will sing of your mercy and your love. Your love is unfailing. Lord, I am grateful. I give thanks for all you have done. I won't forget all the battles you have won. Your love is unfailing. Lord, I am grateful. He shares a melody, tells me to repeat it, and it makes me whole. It reminds my soul I am all that He says I am. I am all that He says I am. I am all that He says I am. And He says I am His own. Oh, I was blinded by scales upon my eyes. Then He came like a light, burned upon the lies, and He set me free. He reminded me I am all He says I am. I am all He says I am. I am all He says I am. And He says I am His own. Chains are broken and scales are on the floor. Truth is spoken. I'm no orphan anymore. Chains are broken and scales are on the floor. Truth is spoken. I'm no orphan anymore. Chains are broken and scales are on the floor. Truth is spoken. I'm no orphan anymore. I am loved. I am new again. I am free. I'm no slave to sin. I'm a saint. I am righteousness. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. Oh, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I am all that He says I am. I am all that He says I am. I am all that He says I am. And He says I am His own.
Hey everyone, I'm really excited to share with you a brand new way to partner with us through giving. Just take out your phone, open your camera, and scan the barcode on the screen. It will take you to our new giving platform on our Square account. You can also visit watersedgegathering.com, or you can download the Waters Edge app and simply click on Give. You can also text your dollar amount to 337-223-9003, or you can mail a check to P.O. Box 572, Lake Charles, Louisiana 70602, or 2760 Power Center Parkway, Lake Charles, Louisiana 70607. Now prepare your heart and your mind for a great message from Pastor Tony.
What's up, everyone? Good morning, and welcome to our Sunday morning Water's Edge online worship experience. We're so thankful that you tuned in today. For those of you that continue to share these messages and these links with your friends and family, thank you so much for doing that. We have people who are tuning in from all over the place. It's really awesome. For those of you that continue to give, thank you so much for your generosity. It helps us love so many more people and help people and serve people. You've allowed us to shelter through the cold weather about 70 to 80 homeless people with the generosity that you've given. Our food pantry will be close to the end of January. Your generosity is going to allow us to feed between 800 to 1,500 people. So thank you so much. Miss Kelly and her team appreciates it. Our church appreciates it. Thank you so much for helping us minister to people and love people. Now, in my life, so many times I have painfully gotten these two things confused, and this is what they are, and remember this today: what I want versus what I value. Sometimes our wants and sometimes our values are at odds with each other in our life. Sometimes what we want right now and sometimes what we value later on down the road are rivals with each other in our life. And so today we start this brand new series called Rivals, and in this series, this is what we're talking about: our wants versus our values and how to align them so we can live our values and how they align with our wants. Sometimes what you and I want right now will not help you accomplish what you value later on down the road. For instance, I want to eat fried food every single day. That's what I want to do, but I can't because I value living longer than 62 years old. I want to be lazy every single day, but I can't because I value success and security down the road. I want to give in to every single temptation that comes my way. I do. We all do. We want to give in. That's why it's temptation, because it's tempting. I want to do that, but I can't because I value integrity and character and relationships. I want to be selfish. I want to, but I can't because I value my family and the people in my life who love me and who need me. I want to live for me only, but I can't because I value serving other people and loving other people. So sometimes what we want right now will always get in the way of what we value later on down the road. And so today, as we begin a brand new year, I want to talk to you about what we want versus what we value. And over the next couple of weeks, I want to talk to you about that. And today specifically, I want to start off with this: what we do with our time and how we can align our wants and our values with how we spend our time. This past weekend, I had to speak at a funeral. 3 weeks ago, I did 3 funerals in 2 days. 3 funerals in 2 days. In the past 20-something years of being a pastor, I've been preaching since I was 21 years old. I just turned 46, so 25 years, I have done hundreds and hundreds of funerals. Funerals because of sickness, funerals because of accidents, funerals because of tragedy, funerals because of disease, funerals just because it was time of someone to go home and be with God in their old age. And over the years, I have paid real close attention to what is said at funerals about the person who has passed away. I've done funerals for rich people. I've done funerals for poor people. I've done funerals for middle-class people. I've done funerals for successful people and shy people and popular people, people who are well-known and people who no one really knows at all. And I've never been to a funeral where talking about someone's success was more important than talking about their love and their kindness and their relationships and their character. I've never been to a funeral where talking about someone's wealth and their career was more important than talking about their love and their character and their integrity and their relationships and their compassion. I've never been to a funeral where talking about someone's possessions or their appearance or their image or all of their accolades was more important than pointing out and talking about their faith and their love and their character and their integrity and their kindness and their values. At the end of the day, our values are more valuable than what we want, usually right now. And so it should make sense to us to not live for just our wants, but to also live for what we value, specifically what we value later on down the road. So let me ask you a question. In this life, what do you want? Better yet, what do you want right now? And this is what I mean. What do you naturally want right now? And you think that if you get it, it'll make your life better, make you a little bit happier? What is it? What do you want right now? And you think, if I get this, my life's going to be a little bit better. I'll be happier. I'll be a little bit more not sad, at peace. Is it a new job? Is it a new lover? Is it a different lover? More freedom, more money, more stuff, less debt, more security, more pleasure, more fun? What is it that you want right now? Many times, this is what we naturally and temporarily want. Now, compare that to what you really would like for people to say about you at your funeral. So compare what you want selfishly right now in your life, and then compare that, what you want right now selfishly, to what you ultimately would like people to say about you when you pass away at your funeral, because this is what would be your values. This is what you would value. At your funeral, you don't necessarily want people to talk about how much money you made and how much money you spent. At your funeral, you don't necessarily want people to talk about how successful you were, how much stuff that you had, how many lovers you had, how much fun that you had, the freedom that you decided to have when you were having a midlife crisis, or how great your hair looked, or whatever. At the end of your life, you really want people to remember you for more than just your wants and living for your wants. You want people to remember your values. On that day, when people stand up and speak about you at your funeral or memorial service, you want people to talk about your love. You want people to talk about your character, your faith, your servanthood, how you made other people feel, your kindness towards other people, how you loved people, how you served people, the compassion that you showed people. Now, here's the deal. Sooner or later, down the road in your life, you're going to want to live for and accomplish your values. So sooner or later, this is going to be what you want, to accomplish what you value. But in order to do that, then today, right now, you can't just live for the surface. You can't just live for the temporary. You can't just live for the natural and for the instant that come your way. You can't just live for your wants. Notice what Moses says in the book of Psalm chapter 90, verse 12. If you're still with me, say I'm still with you. Teach us to realize the brevity of life, or the shortness of life, so that we may grow in wisdom. Now, this word brevity actually means this, and notice this today. It means the shortness of time. And so Moses says, Lord, teach us to realize how short life really is, how limited of time that we actually have in our life. Why? Why teach us to live our life and number our days? Why teach us to realize that life is short? So we can apply our hearts to wisdom. This is what Moses says. Moses says that you should live your life with a perspective that it's short, that time is not going to last forever, that life is here today like a mist, like a fog on the river, and then possibly gone tomorrow. And if you live your life with that perspective in mind, then you will apply your heart to wisdom, and you will stop living so selfishly and temporarily for your wants, and you'll start to live for your values. Again, your values is what you would want people to say about you when you passed away at your funeral. Now, Moses also implies that if we don't realize how short life is and make the most of our time with wise choices, then the opposite is also true. If you don't live your life with the perspective that life is short, then sooner or later you're going to stop making wise decisions and you're going to start making foolish decisions. We will constantly pursue what we temporarily want if we do not learn to live and with an understanding that life is short and it matters. Every moment matters. And so we may not be able to always get what we want, but if you live with integrity, then you can get to a place in your life where you accomplish what you value, because it always leaves us wanting more if we live for our wants, and that means many times we want the wrong things. And how many times have you wanted something that was in direct conflict with your values? How many times has an opportunity come your way and you wanted it, but you knew deep down, this is not really how I want my life to end up. This is not really what I want people to know about. This is not really what I want to be remembered for, but I want it right now. How many times you wanted this habit, but you knew it would hurt your future and your relationships and your character? You wanted this feeling, you wanted this temptation, but you knew deep down it would hurt your relationships and your future and your character. You wanted this possession, you wanted this pleasure, you wanted this opportunity, but you knew deep down it would hurt your faith and your character and your future and your relationships. In this life, we have all gotten what we naturally wanted right now, only to discover later on that it is not what we want later on. How many times have you been so desperate to have something or someone, you think, I want this, I'm so desperate to want this, and then once you got it, you realized, I don't really want this at all anymore. I don't value this. So ask yourself 2 questions. The first thing we're going to do today, number 1, is ask ourselves 2 questions. The first question is this: what do you value? Do you value faith, God, people, relationships, purpose, peace, love, grace, integrity, character, Jesus? Then live for that. Second question, and notice this: what temporary want is dragging you away from your values? What selfish desire, what selfish habit, what selfish urge, what selfish temptation, what selfish want is getting in the way of what you ultimately value and how you want your life to end up? Stop. Here's a thought. Stop living for those temporary things. Why? Because it'll drag you away from what you value in your life. So today I want to point out a few things that will help us live this life with the perception and the understanding that life is short. We don't have much time, and so we need to apply our hearts and our choices to wisdom. The first thing is this: pursue what God wants for you. Now, in order to accomplish what you value, you must start to pursue and seek after what God wants for you. And this really isn't hard to figure out, because God doesn't want you addicted. God doesn't want you feeling guilty all the time. God doesn't want you to live with regret. God doesn't want you tied up with harmful habits. God doesn't want you controlled by anxiety or stress or sadness. God doesn't want you to live with no purpose. Not at all. God wants you to have peace. God wants you to love people and to make them feel significant. God wants you to make a difference in the lives of people. God wants you to have healthy relationships. God wants you to have character and integrity. He wants you to have joy. He wants you to follow Jesus and be a disciple. And He wants you to go to sleep at night with a clear conscience. Pursue what God wants for you. And this is, if we're all honest, this is what we value. This is our values. This is what we want people to say about us when we pass away. So Lord, teach us to number our days. Why? So we can live this life and make wise choices based off of our values, not our wants. That's what Moses was saying. Seek God and pursue what He wants for you. The second thing is this: make your relationships a priority. Now, this is something that I battle with often, because I want and I value hard work and success and achievements and accomplishing goals in the future and how I end up in the future. I value that, and that's what I want. But there are times when I should value moments with my friends and family more. There are times when I should value moments with my loved ones more. There are times when I should value loving the needy and the hungry and the hurting people around me in my life more. There should come a time in my life where I value relationships and people and how I make people feel more. I had a good friend of mine tell me one time, he said, Tony, I have succeeded at everything in life that I have tried. He goes, at sports, I succeeded. At education, I succeeded. I got my degrees. At business, he goes, I'm wealthy. I'll never hurt. I'll never want for anything. He goes, I've succeeded in every area of life but one area. And he just had tears rolling down his cheeks. He goes, and this really for me is the most important area, and for all of us. And this is what he said. He goes, it's my relationships. He said, I have been a relationship failure, and at the end of the day, this is really what life is about. And so my friend made a resolution to pursue God deeper and to work on his relationships and how he makes other people feel, because that's what he values. He doesn't want people to stand up at his funeral and say, well, he made a lot of money. He had a lot of stuff. He was nice every now and then. Had a lot of relationships too. No, that's not what we want people to say. We want people to say that person loved, that person had passion, that person served, that person had character, that person had integrity, that person was faithful and dependable. This is what we value. Listen, at the end of the day, this is what life is about. Life's about loving God and loving people. In fact, that's what Paul said our ministry of reconciliation is, to know God and to make God known. God created you and I to be in relationship with Him and with others. And so this new year, let's do this. Let's live for our ultimate values instead of our temporary wants. Let's live to love people. Let's live to serve people. Let's live to help people and encourage people and to know Christ deeper and to serve Christ and to make people feel significant and to follow Jesus and make a difference. And we do that through relationships. That's what we do that through. Put people in your life before your temporary wants. Put people in your life before your temporary temptations. Put people in your life before your temporary patterns, because at the end of the day, your relationships are more valuable than anything. And so as we go about this new week, you're going to be faced with opportunities to grab what you want or to chase after what you value. Chances are temptation is going to place what you want right in front of your face. All you got to do is grab it. It's going to be easy. But what's not easy is the hard work of living for your values, but it's worth it. Those things must be pursued. Those things take discipline and passion. But at the end of the day, when people stand up and speak about your life, they're not just going to speak about someone who lived a selfish life, but someone who lived a selfless life because they pursued their values. And may that be true for all of us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you, and we hope to see you back next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
We really hope you enjoyed today's service, and we pray that the message from Pastor Tony encouraged you and helped you in some way today. And if you're moved by the message and want to connect with us through social media, you can hit us up at Waters Edge Gathering on Facebook and Waters Edge_LC on Instagram. You can also download our app where you can do online giving, listen to online worship, and replay messages from Pastor Tony. And if you want to know more about salvation and baptism, want to volunteer, or need a prayer request, you can visit our Welcome Center and talk to our wonderful volunteers, and they'll get you plugged in. We hope to see you back next week at the Waters Edge, a place where everyone is welcome.